This is one of the best scenes of the past 20 years, from Paul Thomas Anderson's There Will Be Blood.
I've abandoned my boy!
But the way it's shot is perhaps not how you'd expect.
As a director, it's just like every once in a while, keep it simple.
You see, in Paul Thomas Anderson's previous work, he liked to rely on dynamic and energetic camera moves.
When you come in here, go down to the score.
We can see it in the game show in Magnolia.
The score gets you up to Philip.
With the roaming camera and these fast push-ins. Or on the dance floor in Boogie Nights, with the camera rotating around its subjects.
Cowboy.
But in There Will Be Blood, a static close-up,
Give me the blood, Lord!
a static wide shot,
Down on your knees.
and a simple low angle.
I am sorry, Lord.
This is the journey PTA has gone on as a director, relying less on flashy camera moves,
I could do it again if you need a close-up.
and instead letting the moments breathe. It's the most pivotal scene of the film, but it's shot remarkably simple.
Abandon your child.
This is what happens when a talented director finally finds his own voice.
So that's kind of how we're going to do it.
This is Paul Thomas Anderson.
When Paul Thomas Anderson was 7 years old, he is said to have written in a notebook, I want to be a writer, producer, director. I know how to do everything and I know everything. Please hire me.
I'm glad to be making movies in the same time as Paul.
So how did a kid from California go from film fan to filmmaker?
Final cut. It's a scary thing to give to a guy like me.
How did he become one of the most important voices in contemporary American
I
E
cinema?
would say E.T. is pretty sexy.
How did he make some of the best films of the past 30 years? And how exactly did his writing and directing develop over his career?
If you don't know what you're writing, just put two people in a coffee shop and have them start talking, and it will eventually figure itself out.
Two people in a coffee shop.
What's your name?
This is how PTA began his career as a director.
John.
It's 1996, and this is his first feature film,
Sydney.
Heartache.
You know, I just bluffed my way through directing.
It's a pretty good movie. Here's the letterbox curve, and here's the tomato meter. But what's impressive is how confident the filmmaking is, and we can see this from the very first scene. We open on a wide shot. The truck comes in and frames the subject, and then Philip Baker Hall Sidney offers him a coffee.
A cup of coffee?
Already there's a level of intrigue. Who are these people, and why is this total stranger offering out coffee and cigarettes?
What?
Once we're inside, we get a standard shot, reverse shot setup,
You want to help me?
until Sidney asks John about his family.
Isn't there someone who could,
And then we cut to the two shot,
There's no one else, okay? It's me.
breaking the rhythm to emphasize John's answer. He's a loner.
I'm alone. That's it, okay? There you go.
Now back to shot, reverse shot, but this time over the shoulder. They're no longer alone in the frame, subtly conveying to us that they've got a bit closer in their
I would
relationship.
give you $50. What would you do with it?
They get up, the music kicks in, and the scene ends on this stylish dolly shot. And it's this use of stylish camera movement that would come to dominate PTA's second movie, Boogie Nights.
What can be more of a revelation of a character than watching them have sex?
We start outside, before following the characters into the club.
The opening shot is one of those big, fun, show-off moments.
All without cutting, we meet 7 of the principal characters, learn the dynamics between them, and of course, establish a general fun vibe.
And they're really fun to do, these long, complicated tracking shots.
The shot ends on a look between Mark Wahlberg's Dirk Diggler and Burt Reynolds' Jack.
Jack Warner, filmmaker.
A look that would put the entire plot of the film in motion. A look that without any dialogue instantly conveys everything we need to know about the dynamic between these two people.
I got a feeling, Bass, those genes are something wonderful, just waiting to get us.
As Dirk looks over and sees Jack, we understand a young man's ambition and an old man's moment of discovery. And because this is when the shot finally cuts, we know this look is important.
If you just want to see me jack off, it's 10, but if you just want to look at it, it's only 5.
All of that in only 3 minutes in your second feature film at 27 years old.
Here we go. Throw it out the window.
Here he is on the way to the premiere of his third movie, Magnolia.
Respect the cock.
It's the late 90s, and alongside Tarantino, he's established himself as one of the most exciting upcoming directors.
Thanks a lot for liking this movie.
But at this point, his style was still very much inspired by the filmmakers he admired.
Let's just try and make a really, really, really fantastic movie.
When he thought of a fantastic movie, he thought of Scorsese or of Altman.
What do you think Scorsese and Altman have in common?
We can see Scorsese in the flashy camera moves, large-scale rise and fall narratives, and all the needle drops. The ending of Boogie Nights is a homage to Raging Bull, and we can see elements of Robert Altman with the sprawling ensemble cast.
It's funny because I really was thinking a lot about Nashville when I wrote Boogie Nights.
So, when asked about what Scorsese and Altman have in common, this is what he answered.
Is that they're incredibly selfish filmmakers, you know, in the best possible way. You know, they're really making themselves happy first.
But for his first few films, PTA wasn't selfish. He seemed to be trying to live up to his idols rather than establish his own vision in earnest. Don't get me wrong, these films are great and very well made, but while there's traces of PTA's own voice, they kinda play like a tribute rather than something wholly original.
I grew up watching those movies, and so it's just informed me and informed how I want to tell stories.
But by the time he made There Will Be Blood, all of this had changed, and once again, this is apparent from the opening scene. 15 minutes, not a single line of dialogue, and barely any camera moves. It's the polar opposite to PTA's previous maximalist filmmaking. It strips down to its bare essentials, just Daniel Day-Lewis in a cave digging for oil. It gets to the heart of Plainview's character. He's a man who works. No matter how long or how arduous, he'll always keep going. After a hard day of mining with nothing to show for it, he sits at camp. The weather is beating down on him, but he sips his coffee, content. He carries on no matter what. After an injury, he drags himself across the vast wilderness, a metaphorical journey through hell. Perhaps a defining feat of strength in Plainview's life, yet we never actually see it. Here's what Tarantino had to say about this moment.
As much of a bastard as this man proves himself to be, that courage that it would have taken to do that actually gives him the heroic right for almost everything that he does throughout the rest of the movie. He went through hell to get this fortune.
After he returns, after he's proven himself physically, we see more of his mind at work, drawing up plans and executing them. He's smart and methodical, he's worked for what he earns, and if dragging himself across the wilderness won't stop him, nothing will.
The fact that the man actually would be able to accomplish such an act almost gives him the right for everything that follows down the line.
All of this without a single line of dialogue.
A man that's lived in silence in holes in the ground. He's now got to find a voice.
But when he does open his mouth, he's a smooth-talking salesman.
And a silver tongue that's going to convince people to turn their pockets inside out.
Ladies and gentlemen, if I say I'm an oil man, you will agree.
Not afraid to use his son as a prop to improve his image.
I run a family business. This is my son and my partner, H.W. Plainview.
We've seen the real Plainview, but now we see the perfectly crafted persona he puts on.
Now you have a great chance here.
The mask he wears to further his success. A mask that never really slips.
Out of all men.
He's like a showman. You know, he's got his snakebite remedy and he's going to sell that whatever way he can from town to town.
From this opening, PTA made a bold new statement. The camera is mostly static, and when it does move, it's slow, like following a rope down a hole, or gradually tracking someone going down a ladder. Even when there is action, it's shot very matter of fact. We don't have in-your-face character introductions like in Boogie Nights. Just 15 minutes with this one guy, slowly getting to know him.
Mr. Anderson extremely hands-on when it comes to directing.
Hands off. Hands off.
There's a strong sense of restraint. PTA has matured as a filmmaker. He's now much more comfortable relying on the script and performances to do the heavy lifting rather than flashy editing or cinematography. He's found his own voice, rather than channeling the filmmakers he looked up to.
Which is the sign of somebody who's very, very secure in their own creative powers.
And this secure, self-confident direction brings us back to here.
Down on your knees.
One of the best scenes of the past 20 years. But before talking about this, before PTA even made There Will Be Blood, there was another, much smaller movie he worked on. A movie with an unexpected lead actor. This is Adam Sandler in Punch Drunk Love.
Some of us thought you were actually completely out of your mind when you cast Adam Sandler in this movie.
Punch Drunk Love is an interesting film. We can see PTA's influences becoming less overt.
I wanted to ask you something because you're a doctor.
He's much more intimate than his previous work.
I'd rather not say.
It's only an hour and a half long, and the conflict is very much internal. It's about the protagonist's personal development rather than his material situation.
I don't like myself sometimes.
Sandler plays Barry, a quiet and shy guy who by all accounts is a loner.
I just don't have anybody else I can talk to about things.
He sits in an empty office, walks down the empty streets, and shops in an empty store.
Mary, I'm a dentist thing.
But every now and again, he has these frantic, violent outbursts, like tearing up a bathroom, punching a wall, or breaking a window. This is indicative of the film's overall tone.
What the fuck is your problem?
For the most part, it's a low-key, subtle film, relying more on symbolism than a high-energy plot. But then we get scenes like this.
Oh my god!
Or like this.
Shut up! Shut the fuck up!
The film constantly toes the line between the quiet and the loud. In terms of camera work, we still get a few flashy one-ers, but on the whole it's much more toned down than something like Magnolia. When there is a long take, it's not a sweeping shot all throughout a nightclub, but just one guy pacing around his small apartment, all alone.
You're married, aren't you?
No.
With Sandler's character, PTA stepped away from the large ensemble and spectacle, narrowing his focus on a single volatile man whose inner life swings between quiet repression and explosive violence. This same discipline carries into Plainview, but magnified to an operatic scale, and nowhere is this clearer than in the baptism scene.
I've abandoned my child!
Plainview needs to be baptized in order to get the approval of a pipeline to be built.
I'd like you to be part of our church.
A pipeline that, once constructed, would make him one of the richest men in America.
Here's the Union oil.
But in order to be baptized, he has to hand over power to Eli,
Are you a sinner?
briefly giving himself a lower status, which is reflected in the staging.
What do you want me to say?
Plainview looking up, repeating his words.
I am a sinner.
I'm a sinner.
And Eli makes the most of this, slapping and humiliating him. And for a moment, Plainview's mask slips and he erupts in a rare display of genuine emotion.
I've abandoned my boy!
But once he's confirmed,
Give me the blood, Lord!
the dynamic switches. Plainview starts to mock him in this sarcastic response.
Do you accept Jesus Christ as your Savior?
Yes, I do.
And reassuring himself of his newfound wealth and power. The staging changes. Daniel gets up, now taller than Eli, shaking his hand and physically looming over him. And then as a visual representation of his newfound wealth, Plainview walks through an adoring crowd.
It was one goddamn hell of a show.
Let's compare this to a similar scene of confrontation in Boogie Nights.
I'm not going to tell you again, Jack.
Here, the camera is handheld and constantly moving. It rotates around the subjects and has a much more dynamic visual style.
Are you the king, huh? Yes!
There's this tracking shot, and at least 2 whip pans.
Who do you want to start fucking, me or him?
Characters are coming in from outside the frame, and there's a depth to the image, with Dirk walking away from the camera.
Take care of this. I'm straightening them out.
This fits Boogie Nights' maximalist direction, but in There Will Be Blood, it's filmed in a way to almost downplay the intensity.
Are you a sinner?
But in doing so, it allows the performances to take centre stage.
Say it louder.
I've abandoned my child!
And in the safe hands of Daniel Day-Lewis, this, in some way, makes the scene even more resonant than if it was shot like Boogie Nights. This demonstrates how PTA's style has evolved and become more low-key. He's realised that sometimes, keeping it simple can be just as effective. And it's this mantra that he would carry forward into his next films. The Master, with its simple title card in a plain font, was his next movie. This is similar to There Will Be Blood in how it follows a relationship between 2 men.
I'll rub my nose and scratch my ear.
It's a combustible partnership that gets to the heart of each man's psyche.
If we meet again in the next life, you will be my sworn enemy.
Then we have Inherent Vice. This story's return to Los Angeles, following a private detective going down a conspiracy rabbit hole of drug-smuggling dentists and stoned hippies.
It's a credit card. Don't hippies have them?
It's similar to The Big Lebowski or Mulholland Drive in its meandering plot, focusing on a central mystery that's never really resolved.
Is that a swastika on that man's face? Oh, no, it isn't.
Next up is Phantom Thread, which takes this new, simple and restrained style and pushes it into something even more formal.
There is an air of quiet death in this house.
The film is full of locked-off shots, soft natural light, and a rhythm that feels almost hushed. The style is even more stripped of excess, letting small gestures, like eating a bowl of cereal or having a staring contest, carry the weight of the drama.
If you want to have a staring contest with me, you will lose.
Yet beneath this meticulous surface is the same preoccupation PTA has always had, the push and pull of power between two people.
What the hell is it about? Are you a special agent sent here to ruin my evening and possibly my entire life?
Like Freddy and Lancaster Dodd or Plainview and Eli, once again the central relationship here is a battle for dominance.
I have a competition in me. I want no one else to succeed.
This takes us to his most recent film,
I'm not going on a date with you, man. You're 15.
Man.
Licorice Pizza,
I like that.
which circles back to a more youthful energy but retains that simplified filmmaking.
I'm not gonna forget you. Just like you're not gonna forget me.
The long takes of Boogie Nights are replaced by looser, handheld shots, often just following two people walking, talking or running. It's deceptively casual, but the core themes remain. Ambition, love, and the strange ways people orbit each other.
I think it's weird to hang out with Gary and his friends all the time.
By shooting in this understated way, PTA creates a film that feels both intimate and expansive.
No.
Nostalgic, yet alive.
It is whatever you think it is.
The one thing I remember thinking initially when I was trying to make films, and you got nervous that somebody else was right who was talking to you, who maybe was in a position of power, like that their opinion somehow was right.
When he first started working, PTA was a very self-conscious director.
I don't know.
He overthought his filmmaking and tried to make his style more apparent because that's what he thought a good movie was.
I'm not articulating this very well, but I'm very nervous as a director.
His earlier films have a very intentional voice behind them. It feels like every long take on Needle Drop was consciously decided on and thoroughly worked out. In a way, he was trying too hard.
I just always remember kind of being pummeled by fear early on.
But then he stopped. He stops trying to please these non-existent people of power.
Don't give a fuck. That's kind of the best thing to do.
With his later films, PTA's style not only becomes more confident and unique, but more invisible. The scenes just unfold before you without feeling like they were intentionally crafted in a specific way.
Hello?
It's like he stopped trying to make a good film and just made the movie the way he wanted to.
Look more this way. Chin up a little.
And it's with these films that his true interests emerge. Most importantly, the relationship between two people.
If you figure a way to live without serving a master, then let the rest of us know.
A common thread in all of his movies is an inciting incident of two people meeting.
You want a cup of coffee?
John meets Sydney, Dirk meets Jack, Barry meets Alana, Alana meets Gary.
Are you asking me out?
But while his earlier films would complicate this dynamic with an expansive supporting cast, his later films strip this down, almost exclusively focusing on just two people.
Kiss me, my girl, before I'm sick.
They might have an interesting job, like a child actor turned waterbed salesman, an oil man, or whatever this is.
I am a writer, a doctor, a nuclear physicist, a theoretical philosopher.
But this is usually just set dressing for what at its core is a film about a relationship.
But above all, I am a man. Hopelessly inquisitive man, just like you.
And is this relationship good, bad, reciprocal, toxic, self-destructive, codependent, nurturing, transactional?
Dad, you need to be nicer to me.
It's all of the above and more.
I think it's weird to hang out with Gary and his friends all the time.
He doesn't judge or lead us to a concrete conclusion. He lets us make up our own minds. It is whatever we think it is.
It is whatever you think it is.
But this video wasn't made to shit on his early films, and the excess in-your-face style of filmmaking undoubtedly works for the kind of movies they are. I made this video to highlight how PTA has evolved and matured as a filmmaker. He's finally figured it out and has fallen back on his instincts. He's learned restraint, and showed us how sometimes the best way to do it is to just keep it simple.